Hey y'all, how y'all doing? I hope y'all are doing well, staying safe. Happy Sunday. Um, Welcome to another episode of the Analytical Eye Show. One of the last episodes that I will be um, shooting for this year. Oh my God, this year has gone by so fast. I first off want to thank you guys for your support again. Thank you guys for your love and understanding and patience. And even if it's just one person that watches this entire show, I want to thank you. You know, this show is designed to be a truth talker, a truth teller, and only discuss serious topics. And then also for us to have some fun. Now, I know that we haven't really just laid back and talked, but that's because right now we're not in a laid back moment in the world. So I can't really just lay back and act like everything's okay and talk about anything candid without talking about the serious matters. But I promise you, I'm going to dedicate this show to doing that too. Just not talking about drama, but talking about things in life, what you should explore, things that you should see and know and understand. But I want to thank you guys for watching the show. I'm Javier. If you don't know me, if you're ever watching, cheers. You know, we always start off with cheering to each other, or salute, or whatever you want to do. And taking a sip and getting started. Now, I usually just have topics that I want to discuss with you guys, or things that I just want to talk about in the realm of politics, or the realm of government, or the realm of health. And the last couple of weeks have been, or the last couple of episodes have been strictly about Black Lives Matter, COVID, that man over there, you know what I'm talking about. It's also been about the state of the world that we're in right now. And the next episode is just going to be basically taking a look back at this whole entire year. I'll be turning 21 next year, so I'll be talking about that. It's just as simple of like evaluating my last 20 years on this earth and what I'm ready for in 2021. But this episode, I thought I was going to talk about relationships or something specific to that, or just something candidly about and open about relationships. But I'm just going to be honest. I'm not going to talk about that yet. This episode, I'm entitling it Be Fruitful and Multiply. As you guys know, that is from the Bible. And it's God's way of saying, have kids. He created humans to create more. And I want to talk about what that means. And this show is inspired by a young fellow boy, a sweetheart little boy. And I'm not going to try to cry on this because I already cried last night when I watched this documentary about him. And I'm pretty sure you guys probably have seen the video, which is on YouTube, as well as on my Facebook if you're on my Facebook at all. And his name is Gabriel Fernandez. And this young fella didn't have a chance in the world. If you know who he is, then you know. Sorry guys, 1 second. I have to grab my laptop charger. 1 quick second. You're gonna might probably hear like a loud noise with this mic. All right, sorry about that, guys. I'm the only one running this show. I'm the producer. I'm the editor. I'm the director. I'm the everything person. So you name it, I do it. Usually, I try to make sure I have everything. Literally, what you guys see in front is totally not what's around me and behind me, and everything right now. It's a lot of equipment. Got computer over here. Got HDMI cords and stuff running all through here so it can connect to the TV. Got ring lights, got stuff down here. I'm like literally in a cubicle thing type right now. So if you guys see me sometimes on this show, I'll probably be like, oh, I forgot to do this, or oops, I need to grab my drink, or oops, I forgot ice, or it's getting cold, I need to get something. I'm the assistant, I'm the editor, I'm running everything. So if please be patient with me with all that. But that's what entrepreneurs do. Usually, you guys know, you guys see me with my phone. My phone is literally down here, but I didn't need it today because his story, it was so painful for me to talk about, guys. I'm pretty sure you guys probably already seen the video, like I said. And I was hurting after that, so I'm going to try not to cry this episode. Let me get my little rag if I end up crying, because I don't want to, it was really sad. So I'm gonna try not to talk about him too much, so I don't cry, but a fair enough amount for what I want to discuss with you guys and what it means to be fruitful and multiply. I'm gonna break down the phrase really quickly for what be fruitful and multiply means. And fruitful, when you think fruit, you think nutritious, you think splendid, you think light, energy, godly, pure, vitamin, nutrients, alive, awake, the sun rays. You name it, you think of it that is of God and purity. It's that. And multiply. What does multiply mean? Times 2, times 4, times 6. Duplicate, double, add, addition, generational. That's what it means. And when God said, be fruitful and multiply, and then it also says in the Bible, make sure that you aren't having sex before marriage. Here's my thing. And the reason why I chose this topic, before I even go into it, because I really want to, it's tailored because of his death and how it was treated. And parents and people and kids and little boys and little girls, still not even fully developed yet, they're going out here having sex, and they create babies, and then babies are basically raising babies. And then you have a whole systematical generational curse brought upon people and kids that didn't even have a chance to grow up and actually experience life or experience what it's like to be fully developed in themselves before having a kid. And most times parents, they are not knowing themselves, which means in return they can't know their children at all. You can say, yeah, I know my child, but really you won't if you haven't fully learned about yourself, at least to a stamp, because you won't fully know yourself until you take your last breath, in my mind. But knowing yourself enough so that way then when you have a child, you can explain what you know about yourself from that time point at a mature age to do so. I understand that there are molestations. I understand that there are religious purposes in those standpoints, and I'm speaking for all of it. The only time this doesn't speak to you is when there's obviously a molestation or a incest going on. Then obviously that's something different that we would have to talk about, but we'll save that for another day. But in this instance, for kids that are willingly going out and girls spreading their legs to guys, and guys doing the same thing too, it's basically babies having babies. And when God said, be fruitful and multiply, like I said, when it's the nutrients talking, do you have the nutrients? Do you have the vitamins? Do you have the minerals? Do you have all the necessary equipped tools to be able to then bring another life into the mix. You know, and I'm not judging. I'm just stating. I'm just looking at it from a objective, panoramic view standpoint. Okay, so bear with me. And this boy was brought into this world and never loved by his parents. He went from being with his aunts to his grandparents, to everyone and then some in his life. And he never had a chance. He was failed by the government, Los Angeles County. And that includes CPS, the sheriffs, public servants that are supposed to and required to in mandating and protecting and serving little kids. As well as there was another boy 2 weeks after, I think his name was Andrew, and he was killed the same way as Gabriel. And I cried, y'all. I've never had anyone die to me close before. You've had family members die. Don't worry, I'm not crying. My eyes itching. And I've never had anyone die close to me. My grandfather, the first most recent death would be my grandfather, and that was him dying. I've actually had like great aunts die and stuff, but I haven't seen them since I was an infant. So, I don't know them. So when they die, it's like, oh, okay, it's sad because family members died. But, I don't know them, so I didn't really feel anything. I was just like, oh, okay, they're dead. Didn't know them because I never knew them unless I was an infant. And I never met them recently. So I never had an intermediate death in the family. And, we had like dogs and pets die, but I didn't feel anything for them. Not in a mean way, but like, you know what I'm saying? And, so usually death never really affected me. When I saw Jesus' death from the, I think it's the resurrection of Christ, the Passion of Christ, I did cry badly for that. When I saw the live production play at my church, when they did basically a reenactment of the Passion of Christ, basically up to leading to the days of Jesus' death and crucifixion, I cried at that too. So it really was like only Jesus' death that really affected me where I cried like that. But this one, I cried and cried and cried last night. I had to get on live and talk about it because I was in pain and I was hurting from it. And I had to speak on it right then and there. And I wasn't speaking on it just so people can see my tears and see me cry. I spoke because it was honest and it was truth and it was needed to be heard. And then today I was like, do I really want to do a show? And I was like, no, I gotta give the people something. I gotta do something. I gotta speak on this seriously and sit down. And literally, I'm sitting down. Usually, I'm standing up, y'all. I'm not sure if y'all know that, but I usually stand up. But in this instance, I'm sitting down. I had to sit down. So if you notice, usually you don't see you would see all the trimmings of the TV, like the backdrop, but you see obviously underneath right here. That's because I had to sit. I had to lower the camera. I had to pull my lights down. I had to face myself because this is an important topic, man. So back to what I was saying. Sorry, because, I can get a little off track and woo. So with Gabriel's death, it affected me deeply. And I cried. And it was one of those cries where you felt weak, and then after you got done crying, you felt like everything you looked at was emotional. And all you can do is see that person or feel them. And then it was like that type of cry that it would put you to sleep. And I was put to sleep that night. And it's still sad. It still affects me right now. I'm trying to hold back the tears because I'm a crier. If you don't know that about me, I can be a crier. I just don't cry in front of people because I ain't got time for that. I don't mind being emotional in front of people, but it's just like, I don't know. People that are part of my love village know I'm a crier. I can be a crier. I can shed a couple of tears. I can shed tears on the inside, which is worse than actually shedding tears on the outside because that means you're in pain on the inside. Your soul is in pain. And that's what it was at first with Gabriel's death. My soul was in pain. My soul was crying. And the next thing you know, I was crying. And usually when I cry, I'm in the fetal position. most times. It's one of those moments where you just have to get on the ground and just cry it out, cry it out, cry it out. Even if it's a 20-minute cry, cry hard. Let your voice breathe it out, like, like get it out. Come on. And usually then by then I'm good. But this one, even after I stopped, I kept crying. And tears was shed, and then I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and then I start crying all over again. And then I couldn't get on the ground and cry. Gabriel made me stand up and cry. And I think he didn't want to see me cry for him in that aspect, because it was a sad thing that happened to him. It was a horrific thing that happened to him, but it was more so like doing that would have done just disservice to his life, the purity of him. So I'm glad that didn't happen. But before I even go back into really what I want to talk about, I want to let you guys know I see ghosts. When I was young, I did, which this is another topic for another day. But I see Gabriel now. I do. When I watched the documentary last night, I saw him. And God, y'all, man, I saw him, and he was happy. He was happy. And I'm glad he's happy. I'm glad he's free. He finally has the freedom. Now moving forward, back to the fruitful multiplying. I'm speaking about this today is because parents are, like I said, having kids. And we're putting this stamina of so much sex and violence. There's hormones and stuff in the milk and the produce and the chickens and shit that give these women the titties and the ass that they have nowadays, or men, and it's so much exploitation on women and men together combined, more so women than men, and they don't even know how to carry themselves yet. They're undeveloped, and we need to snatch them up. Like back then when we would act out down the block, snatch them up. I can't help but think of Jill Scott's song, if you ever hear it or search it. It's a poem that she read, and it's called Thickness, and it's basically about she's about women not being celebrated, exploited, degraded, and saturated with self-hatred from what they see on the TV screens, looking at the big booties and the big titties, and the music doesn't even match the choreography or the dances that they're doing or what they're showing on TV. And quite frankly, it's a gimmick. Because even if you go get the fake titties and the fake ass, you ain't gonna be happy. You ain't never gonna be happy. Come on. And you can't teach that to your children, that plastic surgery is gonna be all that and some. Or you can't teach your kids if you still kid yourself. So when God says be fruitful and multiply, and like I stated, he said it also in the Bible, don't have sex before marriage. That was meant to make sure that you're committed to someone, because you're going to be committed to them for the rest of your life, whether or not you guys stay together, because you have this child together. You guys are linked for life now. And you have to be mature and responsible enough to raise a child, and these parents treated Gabriel like worse than animal cruelty, and I forgot what the judge said, but it was like animality, I believe it was. Basically, like the animal. This wasn't even something like animals, because animals know how to treat their young, and it's imperative that you do right by your kids, even if you are now having kids in your 30s. Make sure you are stable in life. Make sure that you're equipped with the mental, the soul, the heart, the body for a child. Because it's not just a career. It's not just a job. It's a life, which is bigger than anything that you can ever imagine. You know what I'm saying? And when you are fruitful, a lot of these kids nowadays, they're not fruitful. They're not wise. They're having kids while they're kids. And a lot of them are knowingly having sex, and then baby comes, and then food stamps, WIC. The Black Panther Party created WIC and food stamps for black people. And it wasn't because to help those that are willing just having sex and they're struggling. It was for people who had, for African, particularly it started in the African American community. And it was for people that needed help and assistance. But I feel nowadays a lot of these kids, just so they ain't gotta work, they don't want to get fruitful. They don't want to go get an education. They don't want to go do something with their life other than pop out babies. And I'm not trying to down anybody or talk down about anybody, but make sure you guys are fruitful when you're having babies, when you're multiplying. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you know the person that you're having sex with. And before you even do that, protect yourself. You know? People rather go, and it's funny because I worked in retail for 4 years, going on 4 years now plus. And it's funny because I see people go in there and they'll go and look at the condoms, right? And they're picking, and then they're saying, nah, they go grab the lube, and that's it. And then I see them same people come back and buy a Plan B. And you know what? They could have bought that $20 box of condoms that had over 50 in there. Instead, they're buying one pill that gives them the 95% chance that they won't have a baby. And not all the time does that work, even if you take it within the 72-hour mark. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny. And then so when we would run out, they get pissed off like, why you guys don't have any? And in my mind, I want to say, well, stop having sex. Or you could have bought those condoms. Or you could have got on the pill. And this is another topic that I want to later on discuss too. So, matter of fact, let me write these down because you know I'm going to forget. Okay. I got to talk with y'all about ghost. See, because I start to forget stuff. I start to forget it real quick. So, talk about ghost. And then also, see, I forgot about it that fast. So I'm about to go back and watch this once I'm done taping it. But it may come to me again. But, you know, it's like you wait for, men say, oh, well, the women just needs to get on the pill. Well, why don't you get on the condom? Oh, it doesn't feel right. Well, then why are you having sex then? You get what I'm saying? And I feel like this whole generation nowadays, everything's got to be so fast. Everybody's got to be like this. Everybody's got to be like this. And then when the consequences come, everybody wants to go awry, go crazy, get pissed off and get mad. And I want to sit back and I'm like, well, you knew all of these precautions. And you can't say that you don't know anything because this isn't like back in the day where they had just sex education in the schools and that was it. There's literally people that are out here letting you know to stop having sex. They're teaching you about safe sex. You know that there's diseases in the world. You know the consequences of potentially getting pregnant. You know, if you are taking the pill, if you're wearing the condom, you are actively trying not to get pregnant. You're being responsible. You're being fruitful. And you're acknowledging that I'm not right now wise enough to handle a child, handle a person, handling another me. Can you, if you had another you, could you handle you? And I'm not talking about a twin. I'm talking about from baby to adult. Can you handle that? And you may say, yeah. No, you don't. Because I can't. I'm only 19. 20, about to go 21. I can't handle another me. And the thing that I've come to know about myself is that I learn about myself every day, guys. I learn about myself every day. I study myself. A lot of people say, well, I don't look at myself in the mirror. A lot of times I'm in the shower for like 45 minutes. I have a shower. I have to show you guys one day. But I have a shower head that changes colors. And I play my music. And I'm in there for like 45 minutes. And I get out. And I'm in the mirror. When I'm getting dressed, I look at myself in the mirror. I study myself, and sometimes I don't even say nothing. I just look their butt ass naked, or I'm just looking at my face and I just stare, and I'm staring pupil to pupil, reflective in the mirror, and I'm studying myself. I'm questioning myself. I'm questioning my mind, questioning my intelligence, questioning my daily activity, questioning my energy, questioning myself. When I talk to myself, when I'm like reacting to TV and stuff like that, which I really want to do that with you guys as well, I look at there's my dresser and it has the mirror. When I'm always reacting to something from what I'm seeing on TV, when I pause it or yell at it or whatever, I always look to myself because I know I'm talking to myself, and I acknowledge it with myself of what I'm saying. I'm very self-aware, guys, and it's imperative that you are self-aware with yourself before you bring another kid, someone else into the picture, even another spouse, before you're thinking about a kid. You know, be self-aware with yourself. I understand. I ain't gonna lie. Sex is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Sex is amazing. It is a fucking beast. It is amazing. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I won't be admit. I'm not a virgin, or I am a virgin, but not gonna go into any details about my personal life like that. But sex is a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful, wonderful, fucking amazing thing. Sex is wonderful, but it has a tendency to get in the mind and get in your ways, and you have to be responsible enough to not allow it to control you, and you be abstinent from it. Don't depend on it, because if you do, it will let you down like a ton of bricks. It's kind of like when you're a fool when you're broke, you're gonna be a fool with money. If you were responsible without the sex, you'll be responsible with the sex. You can have an amazing sex life, but kids are suffering in this world, guys. Kids don't know nothing from nothing. They don't know right or left. As people that have already been on this earth, whether you've been here for 15 years or 100 years or 20 or 13 or 87, you've had some type of experience, and they're gonna follow your every move. And kids do by what you tell them, kids do by what they see you do, not by what you tell them. And you can talk to them blue in the face and say, hey, don't have sex, or hey this, hey that. But if you're showing them other than that, if you're not showing them a lifestyle that they could potentially have outside of the four walls of what you did, they're not gonna follow better rules or set better examples. They're gonna do the same thing you do. And then you're gonna look at and question like, well, why they do this? Why they do that? Take it yourself and look in the mirror. Go into the mirror, take a look at yourself. You're the reason. That's all you. Picture frame. Take a picture of yourself and frame it on the wall and say that's the reason why. You know? You have to be one with yourself. It's kind of like if you can't be with anybody, if you can't stand yourself, or if you can't stand to be by yourself, how can you do that with somebody else? You get what I'm saying? And kids are so resilient, and they'll forgive you until obviously a certain age. But you guys got to treat your kids better. You got to treat yourselves better. Know your worth. Is really about your worth, and there's power in your rolling hills. Like Joe Scott says, there's power in your temple, your mind, what's between your eyes and between your legs. And to diminish it and box it into something so small that God has meant to be so grand, but with responsibility and action of pride and adding patience in there, is a disservice and is disrespectful to God. And is disrespectful to yourself. If anything, it's more disrespectful to yourself than I feel to God, because although he made it for it to be where you should have responsibility, it's up to us as humans to know that what's right and right and what's wrong is wrong, you know? And even if you don't know what's right and right is what's wrong, or as far as someone telling you, the world, you're not in a bubble. I mean, we are in a big, gigantic ass bubble in the, because the earth, but it's not like you're in your bubble and that's it. You don't know nothing. You have the internet now. You have newspapers, articles, doctors, documentaries. There's so many resources that teaches you about sex, that display sex or PDA, and you know about it. And it's a silent thing. And this thing about this sex is so taboo that we just say, oh, don't have sex before marriage or whatever like that. But no, we need to talk about sex. The more we talk about it, the more we normalize it, the more we can get people the help that they need and stop this from happening. You know what I'm saying? And I feel that for Gabriel, he never had a chance, not just because his mother's passed, but because she acknowledged the issues and she didn't care to change it. And partially that had to do with the fact that she didn't have the necessary tools or equipments to know how to change it. But when you acknowledge something as a person of what you're doing wrong, it stops being about what happened to you in the past and how it's affecting you still, to you acknowledging it and you did nothing about it. You know, they shot that boy with a BB gun. They kept him in a box. They did all these things. I'm not saying that every parent that doesn't do as I'm saying is going to do this to their kid. I'm not saying that. But kids they're so precious. They don't know about racism. They don't know about sexism or feminism or male dominating women or wars. They don't know nothing. The only thing they know is waking up, sleeping, crying, and smiling. That's all they know. That's all they know. And then the first thing, what do you do? What's the first thing you do when you teach them? Before they even know how to talk, you get them to start walking. Don't you? So if it's something so simple that everybody does in our life, why diminish your child when you don't have the necessary equipments to raise him, except for just knowing how to walk? You know what I'm saying? It's imperative that you get right up here before you bring someone else and your child into the world and expect them to be right up here. You get what I'm saying? And I see you want to have kids before you get older, because a lot of women nowadays are having issues with fertility or getting pregnant. But for me, even if I was a female, I would rather go through that than to go through the lack of adolescence, the lack of education in myself and in my mind, that I bring another child into an already world of hell, and God already promising us hell on earth, and adding more hell onto that child's life, where he or she was already promised some hell on earth, as from what God said in the Bible, that his book, that we're already promised hell on this earth. Why go and add more days onto the hell that you already is promised to you? Meaning you're gonna already have some bad days to build you up, make you stronger. It's kind of like in the Bible, the devil. Hold on, y'all. My friend is over here shooting me, telling me something. Okay, hopefully he don't walk in, because I hate when people walk in and interrupt my show. But I usually try to keep myself on silent, but I am, but I'm shooting an episode, kind of unavailable. Give me a minute. I'll let you know when I'm done. I'm so sorry, y'all. Okay, I just want to make sure they don't walk in on me, because I'm so tired of when they walk in on me and they be all like, and stuff. Okay. All right. Sorry. See, now I'm about to lose my train of thought. But I think that we as a world need to understand that this life is a serious thing. Humans are serious. And you have to understand that as serious it is as for you to multiply yourself, is as serious as it is to care for that child. And kids are so pure. Kids don't know nothing from nothing. They follow you. And it's literally another reflection of you, but a little bit different in the face. And it still touches my heart today. Like, even though it's a day later, it's going to touch me forever about Gabriel, because just everything that he went through. 8 months of torture. And Be fruitful and multiply, guys. Be careful when you're doing it. Be careful when you're talking. Be careful when you're thinking. You know, we have too many people on this earth as it is right now that don't know nothing from nothing. I am still learning. I'm telling you right now, I'm still learning. And I've acknowledged to myself, I won't even know myself or know everything that I was supposed to learn in life until I take my last breath. Nobody in this world will ever know fully. When someone tells you, oh, I learned everything I learned in the world. No, you don't. You won't know any. Every day is an opportunity to learn. Every day is. There's a message in every single day until you die. And then you can fully say you know yourself in life of what you were supposed to learn. And so, and anyone tries to challenge me on that, we can argue about it. And I can let you know what I'm thinking. But it is imperative that you reach a certain point. And it ain't about, oh, have it at 35 or have your kids. It's about being mature enough to acknowledge that you aren't able to take care of a child right now. The system is overflooded, y'all. This whole fruitful and multiply thing is a pandemic of mass destruction right now because of the lack of responsibility, the lack of understanding, the lack of truth. The truth hurts and no one wants to just face it and be like, okay, you right. Or you know what? Let me step back and be hard on myself and make sure I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Everybody doesn't want to do that, and everybody's too emotional to do that. You can't say nothing to nobody. Nowadays, you can't say nothing to nobody. You can't joke. Comedians can't joke. People can't say nothing without their feelings being hurt, or and it's just like you need to work on that, building your conscience up, your soul up, and then you can have a child. Because if you get a little disrupted in your seat by that and you twitch because of it, then how can you have a child? How can you bring another child to the world that you're going to end up training, basically, the depths of how to be emotional, the depths of how to look, the depths of how to breathe, the depths of how to move and feel and act and understand things. Those simple, basic simplicity things. You know what I'm saying? So before you go biting into those fruitful apples and sucking the juice and eating the nutrients, make sure it's the right kind of nutrients, and make sure you're acknowledging, what kind of nutrients is this? What is this giving? What is this feeling? What is this feeling to me right now? What is this understanding to me right now? And learn about the tree that you're eating from, and make sure it's a good tree. Make sure it's getting watered and soiled and nutrients and manicured and polished and cut if needed, and the right amount of sun. I was watching this documentary with Malcolm X, and he was talking about how the sun grows. When trees grow and it gets a lot of sun, the branches will grow out. But when the tree feels like it's not getting enough sun or enough nutrients or fruitness, it will multiply its branches and twist and turn. Well, he didn't say multiply, but I'm adding the fruitful and multiply. You see where I'm going with this? And it will turn and curve and bend just to get some sunlight so it can grow. That's how you need to be. You need to be desperate for fruitfulness. You need to be desperate for not lusting and gaining the nutrients. And then you can lust all you want, because at least now you know how to act with the lust. You can't be a fool without lust and then expect to go in with lust and not be foolish, because then that's when you're going to end up with the STDs. You're going to end up with babies. You're going to end up in the government system. You're going to end up irritated with your kids, trauma. You raise them in hell, they're going to grow up in hell, and that's all they're going to know, and they're going to think that's normal, and that's how they're going to have their kids. And then we're going to have a whole world full of hell. We're already in the book of Revelation, so why add hell to the revelation? You know what I'm saying? But make sure you guys are doing better. Make sure you guys are fruitful and then multiplying, okay? And the fruitful part is partially the sexual part. I'll admit that. It's partially sex. But for me, it's mainly about the education and knowledge. And then the sex. And then you can multiply. All right? But that's all I want to say, guys. I appreciate you guys listening to me. I will be seeing you guys very shortly. And I hope you guys have a happy New Year's. I will be doing another episode before then about I don't know about yet, but I will come up with something. But remember what I said, y'all. Take home of this, we're still all children at the end of the day. Don't get it twisted. Just because someone dies at 100, they're still a child, because we're just basically little people living in a big old world that was even created by us. It was created by the man upstairs. And so he's the only true adult in this scenario, if you really want to ask me. But let's really try to be like him. Try to be adults. Try to be pure and try to be 100%, 200%, 1,000 if you can. But peace and love, y'all. Love Village. I want to thank you guys for sitting and talking with me and listening to me. Again, I will be speaking with you guys before the New Year's over, because I want to do like that's what I was going to do. I want to do a reflection of 2020 and my 20 years on this earth and what I'm looking forward to and things of that nature. And cheers again. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Abir Vassal. You can also follow the show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Analytical Eye Show. I need to do better with posting episodes, letting you guys know that episodes are uploaded and stuff. I've just been so busy, y'all. I haven't. So, like I said, I'm everything and then some. So I'm also my marketing person and social media consultant and strategist or whatever. But I want to thank you guys for your love and support. Stay safe. Be healthy. And remember what I said. Kids are important and Black Lives Matter. Cheers to us all. Have a blessed Sunday. Thank you.